Lane Duff on, and the definition of a jam. Bases loaded, nobody out here. One run already across in the bottom of the third. The Sox still lead 3-2. Staunton threatening to not just tie this one up, but take the lead. It's Lane Duff on the mound for the Sox.
He comes into this game with over 20 innings pitched and a 3 ERA, but this is a tough spot for him here.
He will face Jacob Lester and spikes his first one that gets blocked up nicely by Taveras. LT Cockrell on third. He reached via the walk. Wyatt Campbell reached via the walk as well. He's off of second. Joey Little, the last batter Dawson Newman faced, chased him with a single through the right side.
Strike him out.
A 1-0 count now. The pitch from Duff. Lester just gets a piece of it to foul it away. 1-1.
You know, Lane kind of like Dawson, the lefty, with the fastball slider combo that has given hitters trouble in the past. Duff was really good in Purcellville when he replaced Newman against the Cannons.
1-1 pitch on the ground, just gets under the glove of a diving Pat Neas. One run comes in to score. Buchanan cuts it off nicely so the bases stay loaded. But it's another RBI single, this time off the bat of Jacob Lester, and he welcomes Lane Duff in with a hard-hit baseball. We're all knotted up at 3.
Yeah, and Patrick Neas has played really good defense as of late. A couple days ago versus Waynesboro, he was really solid at the hot corner, and there's been a couple plays that have just been hit a little bit too hard. That run's going to get charged to Newman, but it's an unfortunate circumstance for Duff. You get your ground ball, and it can't stay in the infield.
Screamer that just got underneath the glove of Neas, who had to lay out for it. He was also playing just about even with the base, if not on the infield grass, so coming at you even faster than it usually does from the hot corner. First pitch to Lincoln Pack will miss for ball 1. We see Brock Clayton going back down to the bullpen, meaning he'll go warm somebody else up again. Not sure who it will be. We'll keep you updated. Duff's 1-0 in the dirt again, 2-0.
You got to find the zone. This has been a real issue for the Sox all season long. Just falling behind in counts, and it's a 2-0, so you can't throw something over the middle here.
What does Duff have on the 2-0? Another pitch in the dirt. It gets away from Taveras over towards Duff, and a run comes across the score. Wyatt Campbell touches home plate, and Staunton has the lead here after the wild pitch.
Evan Taveras has been really good behind the plate. There's been a lot of stuff that's been in the dirt, and that's really the first mistake he's made, and it's not a good time for it to happen, but it's on Duff ultimately to get the ball into the catcher's glove.
All 3 runners advance. Campbell comes home to score. It's 4-3, still nobody out. Another pitch spiked. This one gets away from Taveras again, but not far enough for Joey Little to think about advancing, but it does put Lincoln Pack on base. So the bases are reloaded here, and it's disaster that continues to strike for the Sox defensively. Has 3 runs so far this inning with nobody out, has allowed Staunton to retake the lead. In a game where the Sox put up 3 to jump on the board in the second, and the wheels have fallen off for the pitching staff here in the third.
You know, it could be the heat, it could be the sweaty palms. Like, you don't really know what's going on, but it's very uncharacteristic of Newman and Duff, 2 guys who have been pretty reliable for the Sox down the stretch, to not be having this control right now. But the bases are reloaded here, so you can easily get 2 outs with the ground ball.
That's what Duff will be looking for here in the lefty-lefty matchup against Rex Smith. Newman got him to ground out to Luderman at second in his last AB. The first pitch to him misses down low, and he's really had some trouble locating pitches, has missed downstairs on multiple occasions already by a substantial amount.
It's Ian White getting warmed up in the pen over there.
See if the Sox turn to the righty. Pitch inside to Smith, now 2-0.
And you would really hate to take Duff out of this game this quickly, but, you know, it's the playoffs. It's do or die. Staunton already has the lead. They're still threatening, and Sox got to get an out somewhere.
Can they find one here? Still nobody gone. 3 runs across on the inning. The bases still loaded. The 2-0 pitch. Downstairs misses yet again. It's now 3-0. And as you mentioned, you don't want to pull Lane Duff right now, but you might have no other choice. Can he work back here? The 3-0 offering. Low and in. A bases loaded walk brings in another run. And it's now 5-3 in favor of the Braves here at home.
Brings up the right fielder, number 17, Ryan Fluharty.
You know, and the trouble with something like this is you need time for the pitchers in the pen to get warm. So there's really only so long that there's only so short of amount of time you can keep a pitcher in for, because there's a limited amount of time that the next pitcher is going to warm up in. But Duff out ahead in the count here, 0-1.
Finally gets himself on the board with the first pitch fastball to Fluharty. Had a single into left in his first AB in the second. Swings through that one. And there's the fastball command that we had kind of been missing. He hadn't really gone to the fastball up until just now. Rex Smith, I don't even know if he saw one except for the one that was yanked inside early in the count. Duff back to the fastball, a confidence pitch for him. He's ahead 0-2. Kicks and fires, cuts through and misses his Fluharty. The first strikeout of the day for Lane Duff comes in a big spot. 1 gone here. The Sox a ground ball away from getting out of this inning.
Yeah, Duff really needed that. He took care of Fluharty in just 3 pitches, a guy who got on base in his first at-bat, and now you get the 9-hitter Pacheski, as Randy's going to bring in the infield here. French and Nias close to the grass.
At least the corners come in as the first pitch is cut through from Pacheski. He had the other strikeout today. 1 of 2. Fluharty just a moment ago with the other. Duff ahead 0-1. French on the infield grass. Nias on the infield grass. The middle infield backed up for the double play ball. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss yet again. Duff ahead 0-2. Gonna have to dial it up and hit his spots if he wants the damage to end with just the 4 that have come across this inning. Another big opportunity. The 0-2 pitch from Lane Duff goes way upstairs. No chase this time. 1-2. Finally, a nice little breeze starting to blow itself in. Of course, the second I say that, it goes away. But
Just waiting for cloud cover.
no. Nice try. Not a chance, unfortunately. Duff, his 1-2 pitch spiked in the dirt. Evan Taveras with a great block to keep that one in front of him. Had to stand up to block it. It's now 2-2 and the runners hold. Duff will recollect himself. Jacob Lester off of third had a single into left field to reach base. Lincoln Pack and Rex Smith on second and first. Both got on base via the walk. A strikeout to Ryan Fluharty puts 1 out on the board. The 2-2 pitch from Lane Duff, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lane Duff. The Sox 1 out away from minimizing the damage with just the 4 runs that have come across already.
And so this officially marks the Braves as batting around for the inning here, with Urbaniak coming up for a second time. He led this thing off with a single, but now there's 2 outs on the board here.
Another lefty-on-lefty matchup for Urbaniak. He had the leadoff single. This one into center field, Kyle Langley ranges over. He'll make the play. So the Sox escape, but 4 runs come across. Staunton takes the 5-3 lead. We'll go to the top of the 4th inning right here from the Mox. Ooh, we are back. Apparently, we are back. Sorry if you guys heard anything through the middle of that inning. Didn't mean to be live, but we were live. And a 1 count on Walker Buchanan. He fouls the first one away. A 4-spot put up in the bottom of the third inning gives Staunton the 5-3 lead. Evan Kohler still on the mound. Back out to work for his second full inning. That one to Buchanan down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No, it will not. 0-2 now is the count.
And for Buchanan, this is his second go-around against Kohler here. So, or excuse me,
Ian White in for the Sox here in the bottom of the fourth inning to try to hold what is already a 2-0 deficit. His first pitch to LT Cockrell just misses outside for ball one.
And White, the former ECU pitcher, now committed to play over in the Big Ten with the Indiana Hoosiers, has been a guy who's been really solid down the stretch with an ERA under 1.5.
And the majority of that ERA was buffed up from his last outing where he pulled the start against Culpeper and didn't really give up a whole lot, but gave up enough to inflate his ERA in his limited innings pitched.
There was a lot of walks, but he only pitched an inning in a game that was essentially meaningless for the Tom Sox. They had already figured out their playoff seeding, but White, it was kind of a bullpen game. He started it, but he only pitched one inning.
Allows him to be geared up to go here through just 3 days ago. He's down 2-1 to LT Cockrell. The pitch. Slider misses low and away. Lost his grip on it. Now 3-1. Cockrell so far today 0 for 1 with a line out to center field in the first. Reached via the walk and scored a run in that 4-run third. White from the windup. The 3-1 pitch goes with the fastball that goes behind Cockrell, who shakes it off and kind of gives him a little bit of a look. I don't think it was really intentional. Clearly lost the grip on it.
It's a leadoff walk for White, and you know the walks have just been a problem that's followed the Tom Sox this entire season. That's now the 6th issued by Tom Sox pitching in just the beginning of the 4th.
And a problem that has plagued the Sox, as you said, from the start of the season, a new team high for a season in terms of walks, a couple of 14 walk games early on in the year. Things had kind of settled down as of late, but they're picking back up with the walks here. Another pitch from Ian White, who can't seem to grip his slider. Misses low and away. Taveras makes a good block.
Credit to Evan Taveras back there today. He's got a catch in really hot weather, but he's had a number of pitches that have bounced in front of him to the side, and for the most part, he's blocked them.
Another 1-0 pitch from Ian White downstairs yet again, and another block from Taveras. White's just got no grip on his pitches right now, and he's got to find it.
I mean, it has to be. It looks like there's a rosin bag up there. I'm not sure how, you know, each pitcher is different in using whatever to fix their grip, but he's got to change something here.
Down 2-0 on Wyatt Campbell. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball kind of crossed up Taveras there. Could have been a strike if Taveras was lined up on the outside, was set up inside, so it'll be a ball. Now 3-0. So Ian White in some trouble yet again. The 3-0 pitch still can't locate. Ball 4 yet again, back-to-back walks to lead off the 4th.
You know, there's not pitching to a guy who's hit 10 home runs, but then there's unintentionally walking him 3 times, which is what they have done. It makes sense with a guy like Wyatt Campbell, but you got to hit the zone, and that's just something that White has not done in this inning.
Hasn't been able to find it. Now faces Joey Little. Had a single in his last AB. There's the first strike on the board for Ian White. Will this be the start of something for White, who really needs to get the ball rolling? Runners on first and second yet again. That's now back-to-back innings where the first 2 runners have reached. It was Urbaniak and Cockrell in the 3rd, and now Cockrell and Campbell here in the 4th. The 0-1 pitch fouled off. 0-2. Big pitch right here for Ian White's outing. If he can get Joey Little to fan here. He'll come set. Cockrell off a second. Big lead over there. Pitch way outside. Taveras with another save. And on a hot day like today, the work Evan Taveras has put in behind the plate so far cannot go unnoticed.
Yeah, and he's one of the many Tom Sox who's been in the transfer portal, and a performance like this is really boosting his stock.
Unfortunately, it won't show up on the stat sheet, but it's work that we noticed. The 1-2 pitch skied into the air. On the infield, Patnius ranging over, who makes the play right in front of Soroy at short, and had to come all the way across from his spot at third to secure that one, but he does for out number 1. So Ian White gets Joey Little to pop out, and now Jacob Lester, who's 2 for 2 today and halfway to the cycle, up at the plate.
And sometimes, Jeremy, you have to pop out and show that you can make your pitches in time, but that was the first at-bat that ended in a non-3 true outcome play since Lester came up to the plate last inning.
And a called strike on the first pitch to Jacob Lester. We saw a pair of walks, pair of strikeouts, single. There was a line out to Urbaniak to end the frame. But other than that, been a lot of really just base hit, or a lot of walks and a lot of strikeouts. Now a 1-1 count to Jacob Lester, who's been hot at the plate today. Both of his base hits have gone to the left side. Can Ian White shut him down here? A 1-1 pitch from White, cut through for strike 2.
And White is a guy who I think is in probably the top 3 pitchers on the Tom Sox with the most movement on his pitches. He doesn't throw as hard as someone like Saxon Roberts, who's sitting in the mid-90s, but his slider and fastball both have a lot of run to it.
Can he make it work here? Ian White, the 1-2 pitch. Into center field, Kyle Langley coming in. Will he be there in time? On the slide, yes he will. Kyle Langley robs Jacob Lester of a base hit for out number 2 here in the 4th.
Now batting the left fielder,
And it goes back to what we talked about in the pregame show that we recorded yesterday, Jeremy.
Hey, it was pregame at the time.
It was pregame, and it technically still was. But either way, it's when the ball is in play, it's something that has been a net positive for the Tom Sox. It's been the control that has been the problem, not the too many hits.
First pitch misses outside to Lincoln Pack. There's just been a lot of walks here. Location just hasn't really been on, and it's, even turned into the ones that have become base hits has kind of just been catalysts from the lack of success in throwing those strikes earlier on in the counts. Ian White, now the 1-0 pitch fouled away, 1-1. It's been getting behind in those counts that has kind of forced him to throw some pitches, some get-me-over pitches, and Stanton's been ready for those, and that's why they've got 5 runs on the board.
And some of that is credited to Staunton. They have a really disciplined approach to the plate. They really don't chase, especially a guy like Wyatt Campbell chased more, but he hasn't in any of his at-bats.
On the ground towards the right side, French will collect, step on the bag himself to end the inning. After the 2 leadoff batters get on base, Ian White shuts it down. We'll head to the 5th. The Sox still in a 2-run deficit. Brock Clayton at the dish. He'll face Evan Kohler. The first pitch to him is a called strike. And the sun is unfortunately back out here. And we do have a nice towel, so here you go. Cool you down a little bit.
Thank you.
Second pitch to Clayton, fouled away. A guy who's been very hot in the order for the Sox as of late, looking to continue to stay hot. Already reached base once so far today. He reached base in both of his at-bats. Got hit by a pitch in the second. And picked up a single in the first. Up for AB number 3, 1 for 1 on the day. Kohler ahead 0-2. That 0-2 pitch way upstairs. Clayton lays off.
This is awesome with this towel around my neck. I feel like Cam Newton.
I figured out the strat. You get the collar cold, and then it's just like it's its own thing. First pitch strike to Patrick Nias, called on the slider.
Yeah, I mean, I have an anecdote about that. There was a couple games ago, we were, running out of the house this morning, as you do, not running at my most on-time self.
Sure.
Had to pull my shirt out of the dryer, and so all of the shirt was dry except for the collar because it gets folded over.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, man, this sucks. Now I'm going to walk around with like a half-wet shirt.
Yeah.
But it was actually great because then you go outside in the 100-degree weather with a cold collar.
Oh, yeah, and that's what I'm rocking with right now. Pat Nias down 0-2 to Kohler. That 0-2 pitch fouled away. Nias will stay alive. Charlottesville got ahead early, but the heat has kind of caught up to him after that long third inning defensively. And you can kind of feel things have slowed down both in the dugout and on the field for the Sox. Kohler, the 0-2 pitch. Upstairs, ball one.
And it's interesting because the weather here today is not that far off from a game that might get canceled due to heat. And we've seen this with this particular Staunton team with a lot of those almost heat out type games as Nias fouls that one away. But you get to a point in the season where there's just really not much room for error. This game's already gotten moved once. You just don't have enough time to move it over again. And so that requires both teams to adjust a bit and brave the elements, including what we're doing right now with the towel.
Yeah, I'd say we're braving it. You know, we're not wearing pants and jerseys and helmets, but we're braving it. Nias, the 1-2 pitch. Slider. Called. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Evan Kohler. Sits down both Clayton and Patrick Nias. He racks up his 4th K of the day with that one. And now he'll face Evan Tavares.
Number 13, Evan Tavares.
Another ready-on-ready matchup. Tavares 1 for 2 today. Scored after a single in the second. We'll take that one called for a strike. And is also flown out to center field. That was that first at-bat against Evan Kohler where he worked and fought through his at-bat and had the flyout where he was just a little bit on the launch angle off from it being potentially a home run out to dead center. Watches that one downstairs for ball one. And I think Tavares might have his number here in this at-bat. Not going to call anything, but I think he might have him here.
He's got a good piece in both of his at-bats today. Be interested to see what he does on an even count.
1-1. The fastball. Does it catch the bottom of the zone? No, it will not. Says Rochelo Schultheis behind the plate. Now 2-1.
Another part of this game that's so interesting to me is that, every stadium in the Valley is very different from each other. And the dugouts in particular are very different from what we see at the Cho. As Tavares comes up empty there. I liken the dugout, part of the dugout that we're standing on top of to be, it almost looks like something from Lord of the Rings. Very tight quarters. We had to set up 2 canopies to the right just so the players would, stay cool out there.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Evan Kohler strikes out the side in the 5th inning. And to the bottom of the 5th we go with a 2-run lead for Staunton. I'll turn things over to Daniel for play-by-play duties the rest of the way. Sox down by 2.
Bottom of the fifth getting started here as Ian White returns to the mound to face the bottom third of the Staunton order. Tom Sox trailing 5-3 here in this VBL playoff game as the first pitch from White misses outside to the left-hander Rex Smith. Ian White into his second full inning of work here after succeeding Lane Duff, who succeeded the starter Dawson Newman. White behind in the count 1-0. Here's the second pitch. That one nicks the outside corner for strike one. This is win or go home here for the Tom Sox. The winner of this game would play Culpeper in the VBL South Championship. Tom Sox find themselves in a bit of a hole here as the third pitch from White. Bender just misses outside as we've gotten some umbrellas now.
Oh, yeah. This is lovely.
Two and one count. White out of the wind, fires to Smith. As that ball misses outside. Yeah, this is great. I feel like Mary Poppins out here.
I think my life has just been saved. I believe it was Mrs. Hargett who came and delivered these, so a big thank you to Mrs. Hargett for your contributions to this program and to us here in this makeshift booth.
3-1 misses outside. And for the fourth time in as many innings, the Braves start off with a leadoff man on base. That's White's third walk issued in this game so far. It'll bring Ryan Fluharty to the plate. First pitch from White now out of the stretch. Slider in the dirt, picked out by Taveras for a ball. It's a Tom Sox team that comes into this game with a 21-18 record. They finished third in the VBL South this season. Staunton was in second place. Harrisonburg, the first seed, upset last night by Culpeper. Swing and a miss there from Fluharty, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, and that, not an upset we were expecting, but, facing the Culpeper team that has just really been kind of in the same way the Sox have been, just really hot throughout the back half of the season. Really came in through July well, and they're going to stay alive for at least one more game.
Here's the 1-1 from Ian. Check swing, it's a called strike, and it's 1-2. Staunton crowd didn't like that one as Ryan Fluharty.
Well, there was some disagreement as behind the plate, Roshlo Schultheis called the strike, but down the first base line, Roop thought it was a challenge over to him, who called it a ball. So creating some confusion for both the fans and the coaching staff, but Roshlo Schultheis said it was a called strike nevertheless.
Now it's a 1-2. Here's the pitch from White. Swinging a foul straight back, and Fluharty stays alive. Over on the northern side of the VBL, it's going to be a really interesting matchup. Percival will take on Strasburg. Strasburg has surged in the second half. They have one of the best records in the entirety of the league and presumably are the favorites by some people. As the runner goes, pitches inside for a ball. Throw down by Taveras is over into center field. Holding at second will be Smith. So there goes the double play on the stolen base there by Rex Smith.
Yeah, and good base running. Good backup by Kyle Langley out from center field to come recover that one and not allow Smith to get himself over to third on what was a wild throw from Taveras and a pitch that just barely missed on the 1-2.
2-2 count. White looks back at the runner and deals. Pitch is just inside, according to the home plate umpire, Landon Roshlo Schultheis. Now it's 3-2 here with nobody out. Tom Sox down by 2. Infield straight up. Hudson Luderman will move over to hold on Smith. White not looking at him. Here's the full count and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Good work by Ian White, braving that at-bat. He strikes out Fluharty and picks up his first K of the afternoon.
Yeah, just good execution on the 3-2. Didn't get the call he was looking for on either the 1-2 or the 2-2. Fired back, got a pitch that Fluharty had no choice but to cut on through. Big strikeout for out number 1.
So here's Zach Pacheski, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. This is his third pitcher he has to face in as many at-bats. He looks to square, but takes the first pitch outside.
And both him and Fluharty have accounted for the only strikeouts of the day offensively for Staunton. So everything's really been working for the Braves at the plate. When they've been getting out, it's been on balls put into play.
1-0. White takes a look back at Smith over at second, takes a second look back, and deals. Outside yet again with the slider, and it's 2-0. You take away the heat, it is a really nice day here in Staunton, and it's always runs a couple of degrees cooler than Charlottesville, as I've been told, because we are on the other side of the mountain.
Sure.
As here's the 2-0, comes in from White. That misses inside. 3 balls, no strikes to the 9-hitter Pacheski. It may be cooler, as we've learned, but the rain is everywhere.
Yeah.
As we experienced yesterday.
Well, the rain wasn't in Charlottesville last night, actually.
3-0, that is over the plate for strike one. Yeah, it wasn't. It looked like it was, or at least it was going to be. We had a cloud moving in as we were recording our pregame show, so we had a contingency plan to move everything inside in about 30 seconds if we had to. White looks back at Smith. Takes a second look, fires in, and that misses inside. The second walk issued in the inning. That's free pass number 4 surrendered by Ian White. That puts 2 men on here for the top of the order, and Michael Urbaniak.
Number 24, Mikey Urbaniak.
1 for 3 on the day for Urbaniak. Had a hard hit single in the 3rd, a line out and a ground out. Everything's been kind of to that right field, right center, almost to center field if needed, kind of alley. So everything to the pole side for him.
Smith on second, Pacheski on first. Here's the first pitch to Urbaniak. Fastball off the outside corner. And it's 1-0.
And just been missing for Ian White on a couple of these pitches now. And it's been very close on the edges.
1-0, White deals, swing and a miss from Urbaniak. He's part of a really talented trio of catchers by the Braves. LT Cockrell, who hits after him. Urbaniak does catch, although he's in the DH spot. And then Zach Galuski, who is the 3rd catcher for this team. One of a couple difficult names to pronounce. Here's the 1-1 from Ian. Swing and a miss again. White ahead in the count, 1-2.
This is a pretty phonetically spelled name, Ty Galuski. It's not all too hard, but definitely on first look, it's a little shocking.
Urbaniak down the count, 1-2. White keeping his gaze over at 3rd, fires, and the slider misses outside to even the count. Urbaniak, a guy who just finished his first year at Longwood out in Virginia, .294 average with 3 home runs, 33 RBIs. And he's hit nearly 400 this season in the VBL, one of the top averages in the entire league. Here's the pitch from White. Here's a ground ball snared by French. He's able to get over to first for the out. Everyone moves up 90 feet. Nice play there from Anderson over at first, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, big run-saving play right there from Anderson French. A hard hit ball over to first, but he snares it well and keeps it in front of him to recover and make the play over to first. Runners into scoring position now for Cockrell, but 2 outs in the inning.
Cockrell 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. 5 walks collectively between him and Wyatt Campbell, who hits after him on the afternoon. Comes to bat with 2 in scoring position and 2 outs. Here's the pitch from White. First pitch just above the zone for ball 1. Tom Sox pen, there's a couple of guys standing up, but nobody throwing right now. White just looking to get out of this inning. Here's the 1-0. White out of the stretch. Swinging a pop-up. This one veering foul. French thinks he has a play on it, but it hits the screen. That's placed above the fence, so it'll be out of play, 1-1.
Yeah, just barely stayed out of play right there. You could hear Tavares from behind the plate yelling, "Careful, careful," as it was getting nearer and nearer to that fence. Unsure if it was going to hit or not. Would have taken a miracle play from the 6'5" French to even get up there for a chance at it.
Cockrell, who just finished his first season at Delaware, got off to a bit of a slow start, but ended the season really hot. 9 home runs, .314 average for the Blue Hens. Even in the count, 1-1. Here's the pitch. He drills that one, but it's way foul down the third base line. Almost hitting a car parked out there.
Yeah, I thought those cars were in danger. Then I realized they were too close to be hit by that one. He golfed that thing out past a stop sign and a pair of cars down there.
John Moxie Stadium is placed next to a football field and a golf course, all next to a residential neighborhood.
Yeah,
things are very close together here.
Everything's going on right around John Moxie.
1-2. Ian ahead in the count here with 2 away. Takes a deep breath and kicks and fires up and in for ball 2. Infield playing back. Got Smith over at third and Pacheski at second with 2 outs and the Tom Sox down 5-3. Ian White trying to pitch his second straight scoreless inning. Here he deals. Cockrell takes called strike 3, a delayed call from the home plate umpire, and a tough out to get, but Ian escapes the jam. We'll go to the 6th inning. Tom Sox chasing 2. Top of the 6th getting started. Anderson French to lead things off against Evan Kohler, and he swings and drives that one down the right field line foul. 0-1 on the VT product, French.
Please don't hit my car. Please don't hit my car.
Kohler continues to deal in this game after being forced into the game probably a little bit earlier than he expected. The Tom Sox chased the Brave starter Parker Monday after just 1 2/3 innings. But since then, it has been Kohler who has shut things down. French swings and drives it over to right, but Wyatt Campbell collects and takes it to first for the first out of the inning. Sox still down 5-3 here with a place in the final 4 on the line.
Second baseman, number 19,
Yeah,
Bryson
and with the
Luder.
place in the final 4 on the line over the last three and a third now, it's been 1 base runner for the Sox, and it was Kyle Langley who reached via the E6. So the Sox have gone effectively hitless since Evan Kohler has entered the game and haven't really gotten a base runner on. Kohler, who, as we talked about when he came in, has struggled in his last couple of outings, but really back onto his game here against the Sox like he has been all year.
Here's the 1-0 to the fellow Hokie Hudson Luderman, swinging a grounder right to the shortstop. That is Lester who throws him out, and a quick 2 on the board here. And now it will be up to the 9-hitter Walker Buchanan to extend the inning.
And it's not just the fact that these are 1, 2, 3 innings. These are fast 1 to 3 innings for the Sox offensively. And when you're having these quick innings, it then sends your defense back out there sooner than you want to send them back out there. And for the last 2 innings for Staunton, even though no runs have come across, they've still put 5 runners up to bat in each of those 2 innings. And they've just kind of been threatening and having, those long innings defensively really, really catch up to you in a hot game like today.
Buchanan fouls the first pitch away towards the left side. Kohler did get tagged a bit by Harrisonburg in his last appearance, but other than that, he has been really difficult for opposing hitters to face, as That hits the inside corner. It's 0-2.
And I'd like some, we saw the early at-bat aggression right there from Buchanan, swinging at that first pitch, then takes the fastball kind of right down the middle.
0-2 from Kohler, and Buchanan takes outside for ball 1. Top of the order on deck with Perry Hargett.
And against Kohler, you can't really be sitting around and, you know, I know it translates into these fast 1 to 3 innings, but you can't sit around and wait for that good pitch to come. It's going to be there early in the count.
Buchanan lines that one foul. Got a good piece, but just left of the third base bag. And I think the key here for Kohler since entering this game has just been no walks. That has been part of his game. The strikeout stuff is there, sure, but not issuing free passes has been the difference here between these two teams. But not a big difference, as the Tom Sox just down by 2. Buchanan stays alive, spoils another.
And you're going to get strikes from Evan Kohler. It's just a question of if you can pick out the right ones to put into play, be on time with them. You know he's got the electric fastball out of his right hand that really gets some rise to it, and the breaking stuff that works off of it so well. Just got to hope that you attack the right pitch and put it into play.
Here's the 1-2 on Walker. That ball outside evens the count at 2 apiece. Got Thomas Abel over there at first base coaching, and Randy Tomlin watching over at third. Joey Davis, one of the assistants, encouraging Walker here as he waits on a 2-2 and fouls it straight back. This has been a Tom Sox staff that changes almost every year. You know, in summer ball, it's a different group of coaches, and Randy Tomlin is the one exception, but in his second year. Someone like Bob Weiss or Mike Bocock, who has been there with their respective teams for a couple years. Here's a ground ball to third. Is barehanded, nice play. Did Campbell keep his foot on the bag? He didn't. As it gets away from him, Buchanan will walk over to second base and slide in there, as that will likely be ruled an error.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the Sox have the tying run coming to the plate.
Yeah, and another softly hit ground ball that a defender had some trouble with, trying to force the throw after, a nice play made, honestly, by Rex Smith right there. And we'll get an E5 on that one, but a good play made by Smith. The throw just wasn't there to, not that Buchanan has a whole lot of speed at the plate there, but just a softly hit ground ball, and that's resulted in the 2 errors and the only 2 base runners that Kohler has seen in his outing.
So here's the top of the order in Perry Hargett, who has a strikeout, a lineout, and a walk that brought in a run. Here's the first pitch from Kohler, and Hargett drives it the other way into center field. Little makes the catch. Perry's been unlucky. He's had 2 hard hit balls that have gone right to the Staunton outfielders. We've played 5.5 here from John Moxie Stadium. Tom Sox still down by 2. Bottom 6 here, it's 3-4-5 due up. There's a couple of defensive changes for the Tom Sox. Anderson French has moved from first base to catcher, and Tanner Shadle has checked into the game at first. So Evan Tavares' afternoon is done, as you know, the heat and catching 5 innings of ball definitely will take its course on you. Ian White is back on the mound. Here's the first pitch to Wyatt Campbell, a good slider that gets the zone, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, been 2 innings of work so far for Ian White. A quintet of walks, but also a pair of strikeouts to his name. Nico Jansen's getting loose in the pen for Charlottesville.
Second pitch just runs inside. 1-1 on Wyatt Campbell, who has just walked to first base 3 times.
Came around to score on one of them, got stuck the other 2 times.
1-1 as I believe that's Lee Sowers singing some Bryan Adams in the dugout.
Definitely Lee Sowers singing Summer of '69, because who else but Lee Sowers?
Campbell fouled the previous pitch back. Coach Tomlin will go out and get the ball. Well, I mean, Lee Sowers has showed off his singing skills a lot throughout the season. The one that comes to mind is I Keep Forgetting by Michael McDonald. He did a good job with that performance.
Yeah, in the middle of his, that was just his jam music. He was just singing that to sing that, I think.
1-2, Campbell hits a ground ball, snared by Nias. With a hop, he throws over to Shadle, and the leadoff man is retired. 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, and finally getting Wyatt Campbell out, and they had unintentionally kind of pitched around him. And now in the spot we were in, Ian White comes through and finally retires him. Good play from Nias. A pretty easy, usual Sunday hop, but we'll call it the Saturday hop today.
So Joey Little will check in here for at bat number 4.
He coming from the scorer's box.
Here's the first pitch from White. Slider just inside for a ball. Little, as we mentioned earlier, he played JUCO for a couple of seasons, but a far trip for him, originally from Hawthorne Woods, Illinois, to Stevenson High School. It's a very good high school for athletics.
Far travel for you, too.
Just a couple of Illinois guys out here as Little comes up empty, and it's 1-1.
A couple of Illinois guys hanging out in the middle of Virginia on a nice July afternoon. Just missing Jason Ben out here.
Exactly. Tom Sox closer, who was very good in his short time with the team. As the 1-1 is swung on and cut through by Little, and it's 1-2. Ian White trying to bring some stability to a game that has had some wild moments. Tom Sox find themselves down 5-3 here in a do-or-die matchup with the Braves. Here's the 1-2 from Ian. Called strike 3. He got Little at the knees, and White picks up another strikeout. That's his 3rd of the afternoon, and they're 2 away.
And making sure he stays in this game. It's been good work for Ian White so far this frame. Retired the last 4 batters he's faced. And the thing with Rashlo Schulteis behind the plate is it's a very late ring up. He might call the strike before he, records the actual punch out, but definitely a little delay on his call.
Strike 1 here to Jacob Lester, the shortstop. Lester, a rising junior from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He plays his college ball at Trevecca Nazarene. As he waits on an 0-1. Swing and a miss. That slider really working for White. Lester, this is his 2nd Valley League team of the year. He played a handful of games with the Harrisonburg Turks, but has spent the rest of the season out in Staunton. The 0-2 fouled straight back.
And I guess he's on the good side of history, with his team still being in play here, and the Turks season being cut short last evening.
He has known how to pick a winner, it seems.
Hey, plenty of baseball left here today.
Here's the 0-2. White just missed on the slider. Home plate umpire thought that one was a little bit down or outside or both. And it's 1-2 here. Infield playing back close to the outfield grass as White gets the sign from the wind. Here's the 1-2. Just up and in.
Some
2
pop
apiece.
on that one. Whole lot of velo.
Yeah, with White, you'll see mostly 90-92. You won't see much more velo than that, but that's where most of these Tom Sox pitchers range velocity-wise, as the 2-2 is hit well into left field. Walker Buchanan moving back towards the wall. He looks up, and that ball is out of here. Just 1 strike away was White, but Jacob Lester got a good pitch and sent it out of here And it's 6-3, Staunton in front.
And with that one, Jacob Lester moves himself just a triple away from the cycle. So we'll see and keep an eye on that for his next at-bat. Didn't know if that one had the carry to it. Thought Buchanan might have had a play on it, maybe against the wall, but it just kept carrying and just touched over that 355 sign out there in left field.
Yeah, we talked about the dimensions before. It's 325 down the right field line, 360 out to center, 355, which is pretty close to where Lester hit that ball. And it's also a high wall as well, so you have to clear it as the first pitch to Lincoln Pack is fouled away, as it takes a couple of clatters off the benches behind us. 0-1 here. Staunton ahead by 3. Winner of this game, as we mentioned earlier, will take on the Culpeper Cavaliers. Culpeper, either way, will be going on the road no matter what, as White deals outside. Harrisonburg was the top seed in the VBL South. Staunton was the 2nd seed. Tom Sox in 3rd. As the pitch from White taken outside. 2-1. Lincoln Pack in this game has a couple of ground outs and a walk. 2 official at-bats for him as that ball gets behind the catcher, French, and it's 3-1.
And after recording those 4 straight outs, I apologize to Ian White. I think I jinxed him and the cause for that home run, so I do apologize, Ian, if you do watch this back later.
White kicks and fires. Good slider in there for a strike, and he's run it full. Tom Sox kept the Braves off of the board for the last 2 innings. Not so much in this one, as the full count swung on and missed. Good work by Ian White, who has been getting that strikeout stuff. He's now got 4 Ks in his outing, but the Braves do get a run, and they lead 6-3 as we're heading to the 7th. Kyle Langley leads things off. Here in the 7th, he takes a first pitch strike from Evan Kohler, who's been a constant on the mound since the 2nd inning. And Langley just trying to get on the board in this game as the Tom Sox are chasing 3. Takes outside for 1-1. Langley on the day has reached on an error, brought in an RBI with the fielder's choice, and struck out. He's in a 1-1 count here. Takes the 3rd pitch and fouls it away.
Just need some aggression from Langley at the dish here. Just try to get something into play, force some action. It worked in his last at-bat. Gonna need to do it again here.
It's the heart of the order, 2-3-4 due up for the Sox here, down 6-3. Here's the pitch to Kyle, missing in the dirt, 1-2, or 2-2 I should say. Jackson Soroy waits on deck. Kyle playing this game not too far from where he plays his college ball over at James Madison, where he'll be a junior come the year. He lifts one out into shallow left field, and that ball is going to drop. Leadoff single for Langley, who takes the wide turn but retreats back to first. That ball was in on his hands, but Smith had really no play on that one, and Pack was positioned too far, and it drops in between them.
Yeah, spun that one nicely, whether it was intentional or not. Drops it into left field. That's the first hit of the day against Evan Kohler. And no better time than right now for the Sox to start to get things going with the heart of the order up.
Kohler will throw over Langley in there in time. As Jackson Soroy, the Terp, steps in.
You love to say that, don't you?
Of course I do. Here's the first pitch. Kohler deals just upstairs for a ball. Terps are a changing team, so Soroy is going to be in contention for a starting infield spot.
Played well enough down the stretch out here in Charlottesville to deserve it.
Soroy into left field, back-to-back singles for the Sox. Langley will make the turn at second, but once again retreat. And just like that, here comes the tying run in Brock Clayton.
Yeah, hard hit baseball, another multi-hit day for Jackson Soroy at the plate. The first multi-hit day for the Sox here today. Langley's reached base a pair of times, but nobody else had put together 2 hits, and Evan Kohler gives up the first 2 hits of his outing on back-to-back batters in Langley and Soroy.
There's been no extra base hits in this game for the Tom Sox, but at this point, they have to be used to that. Swing and a miss by Clayton. If there's anyone who's capable of getting an extra base hit on this team, it's the guy at the plate. Clayton, who played his first season of college baseball at Florida. A native of Gulf Breeze over by Pensacola, has gone north here to play his summer ball. A little tapper back to Kohler. He's going to throw to third, and they cannot get Langley as the third baseman Smith dropped it. Everybody's safe, and the Sox have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, and just kind of a gaff right there from Smith, who couldn't hang on to the baseball. I think Roshlo Schulteis from behind the plate called it out, and then from the field, Derek Topf called him safe. That one's dropped. It's going to be a fielder's choice.
The old 1-5 fielder's choice where you don't get an out.
The E5 fielder's choice 1-5. I don't even know what the correct order of events is right there. But either way, the bases are loaded for Charlottesville. That one really fills up the tiny little square I have here of space to write in the FC 15E5. But
it may fill up the square, but the Sox have filled up the bases here, as looks like that's going to be it for Kohler. This is a quick hook for Brian Sutphin, as Evan Kohler, who flew through the middle innings of this game, starting in the 2nd inning and then taking the Braves all the way into the 7th, is going to leave before recording an out in the 7th. The Braves will go to a new arm, and we'll have more on him and the rest of this inning when we come back.
batting the third baseman.
Bases loaded, nobody out. New pitcher in the game here for the Braves is Ismael Barrero, the right-hander who's pitched just south of 23 innings on the season, and he gets an arduous task here of dealing with bases loaded and nobody out, and Patrick Nias at the plate. The 5-hitter Nias 0 for 3 in this game in a huge opportunity. The first pitch to him gets away from the catcher Cockrell. Langley stays put over at third. Kyle at third, Jackson Soroy at second, Brock Clayton on first.
Yeah, he definitely thought about it right there, but wasn't up the line enough. Good block from Cockrell to keep it in front of him, not let it get to the backstop. In 2 outings this season for Barrero, he's gone a combined inning and 2/3. Recorded 1 out for a save on July 3rd, then got the loss on June 30th. Threw an inning and a third, gave up 1 run, a walk, and had a strikeout, but got the loss.
1-0 to Pat. Up and in. That ball gets away from Cockrell. Langley will jog home, and the Sox get a run, 6-4. Everybody moves up 90 feet. That puts Clayton at second and Soroy at third on the wild pitch there from Barrero.
Yeah, that one almost got a piece of Patrick's helmet. So the first pitch from Barrero, way in the dirt. The second pitch, way upstairs. He's going to have to find a happy medium, or he's going to hit Patrick Nias with this one.
2-0, Patrick Nias, the rising sophomore out of Gardner-Webb. He's been an everyday player for this Tom Sox team. Here's the pitch to him. Nias swings and fouls that one away over the press box behind us, and it's 2-1. Tanner Shadle waits on deck. He's taking Evan Taveras' spot in the order. Barrero fires on a 2-1. Nias into center field. That's going to score at least one. Soroy will jog home. Clayton will be held, and it's 6-5 on an RBI single from Patrick Nias.
Yeah, that's loud contact off the bat of Pat Nias right there. Gets the job done when the Sox need him. A lot of hard-hit baseballs in this ballpark for Patrick Nias. Delivers yet another one right there. Had one the other night out into right field in the 9th to put the only run on the board for the Sox in that one. Delivers yet again right here. And now Brock Clayton stands 90 feet away from knotting us all up at 6 here in the 7th.
Nobody out here as Shadle comes to the plate with the runners on the corners. First pitch to him, a fastball that nicks the inside corner. Shadle is another one of these Tom Sox that has been here really for the whole journey. Playing all around the field, some outfield, some infield. He takes inside to even the count. Comes into this game with a .222 average, but the big key, 3 long balls. Something he has shown throughout the season. And in his action at Old Dominion this year, he had 2 home runs. He's got the tying run 90 feet away. Here's the pitch from Barrero. He slows him down with a slider and hits the outside corner. 1-2 count here to Tanner Shadle, taking his first hacks of the game. And it could not be in a bigger spot. Nias on first, Clayton on third. Shadle at the plate. Here's the pitch from Barrero. Swing and a miss. A nasty breaking ball that retires the rising sophomore, and there's one away in the inning.
Sox still threatening. Obviously a ground ball away from a double play to end it, but a runner 90 feet away and a job to do right here for Anderson French. No better time than the present for a big AB from him right here.
So now Anderson French. First pitch from Barrero. Swinging a foul ball. Look out as that one just clears the away dugout, or the home dugout, I should say. Anderson French in this game 0 for 2 with a walk. Part of that second inning where the Sox put up 3 runs. Can they put up another 3 here? French takes down low.
Biggest at bat of the game up to this point. And Anderson French is going to have to lay it all on the line here against Barrero.
1-1. French takes outside, 2-1. Nias will probably stay put over there at first. Him and Clayton not the fleetest of foot on the base paths. French's college teammate Hudson Luderman waits on deck. Here's the 2-1. French, did he go? He did not go, says third base umpire Derek Tope. Now it's 3-1 here. That was a nasty breaking ball from Barrero, but French just held up.
Yeah, it's a good 2-1 pitch in a count where you think you might get a fastball. Slowed him down with it and Good execution, but better from French.
Now it's 3-1. Here's the pitch. French swings out of his shoes on the breaking ball, and it's 3-2. The mission here, as we've talked about all season long, just situational hitting, putting the ball in play. French waits on a full count. Looks like he held up as that ball was in the dirt, and it loads the bases now for Hudson Luderman with one away.
Back-to-back beautiful takes from Anderson French. Works himself a walk, loads up the bases once more. And now Huddy's got it down to him. And in that bat where I see a lot of room down that third base line out into left field.
Bases are reloaded here. French at first, Nias at second, and Clayton at third. Hudson Luderman at the plate. Will Genowine is getting warmed up in the on-deck circle. He would be hitting for Walker Buchanan in the 9-hole. Luderman takes up upstairs for ball one, as LT Cockrell will walk out to the mound to talk to his pitcher.
And no motion out in that bullpen as of right now for the Braves. So it looks like they're going to rock it out with Barrera, who's going to have to really, really clamp things down here if he wants to avoid this becoming not just a tie game, but potentially a lead for the Sox.
The Sox have gone scoreless in 5 of the first 6 innings of this game. That included the last 4. In this inning so far, they've put up 2. First on a wild pitch that scored Kyle Langley, and then an RBI single by Patrick Nias that scored Jackson Soroy. Now they have the bases loaded with Hudson Luderman at the plate. And they're just chasing one here in this VBL playoff game. Barrero out of the wind on a 1-0. Luderman takes outside, puts up the left hand to Brock Clayton at third base.
Big plus count here. Hope for the fastball. You attack that fastball. If you don't see fastball, you don't swing if you're Luderman right here. Expect something down the third base line.
2-0. Luderman swings and fouls it away.
Just a tick early on it. Pitch he was looking for, just in typical Hudson Luderman fashion, way out in front of it.
Luderman, a guy who played in 42 games this season for Virginia Tech, experienced for a freshman. 2-1, drilled into left field, coming in his pack. He will make the catch on the run. Clayton will tag, throw home is cut off, and the Tom Sox have tied it up at 6. What an inning as Hudson Luderman brings in the run on the sac fly.
And leave it to the guys who have been here all along to put in the situational baseball when you need it. Hudson Luderman with a clutch RBI right there to bring in Brock Clayton. And the Sox are right back into business, and now it's Will Genowine, as you already mentioned, to pinch hit right here.
Genowine, who will presumably take left field in the next inning, replacing Walker Buchanan, who went 0 for 2 and reached on an error. Genowine, the lefty, will get ready here in the 7th with the go-ahead run in scoring position in Patrick Nias.
The 8th runner, or 8th batter of the inning here for Charlottesville.
First pitch here from Barrero to Genowine. Fastball outside for ball 1. Nias over on second, French on first, 3 in this inning. It started with Evan Kohler, but since then, the Sox have knocked him out of the game and knocked in 3 runs. Genowine ahead in the count, 2-0.
Genowine, a guy who came in here flying through his first weekend of baseball. Slowed down a little bit since then, but no better time to make your first true big impact than right here.
2-0 to Will. Outside for ball 3, as Perry Hargett represents the top of the order and waits on deck.
And it's disciplined ABs from Genowine. He hit .333 at the collegiate level in 37 games played for University of the South Sewanee. What can he deliver right here?
Barrero looks out at third, now in and fires on a 3-0. He missed him. Genowine works a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded yet again, this time for Perry Hargett.
Discipline, discipline, discipline. The Sox, as we talked about on our pregame show, are a team that takes advantage of defensive mistakes. And as of right now, It's been a couple of defensive mistakes that have really gotten things going for the Sox that sparked it. Along with a pair of base hits to lead off the frame, and now Perry Hargett with a chance to do some more damage.
First pitch to Perry, outside for ball one. The go-ahead run waits just 90 feet away. Hargett is the last Tom Sox to hit in this inning. Trying to bat around here. Hargett takes strike one. Nias on third, French on second, Genuine on first. Tied up at 6-6 in the top of the seventh. Hargett, ground ball up the middle. That ball grounded by Pacheski. He races to the bag. He got him at second. About as close of a play as it gets. But he's able to beat the sliding Genuine, and that ends the frame. But the Tom Sox have made it a whole new ball game here at John Moxie. Things all tied up at 6-6 as it's time to stretch here. Nico Jansen's into a whole new ball game here in the bottom half of the seventh as the Tom Sox rallied for 3 runs and brought things level with Staunton at 6 apiece. Daniel Stein alongside Jeremy Rose here for this VBL playoff game, and things have gotten tense here as Jansen's deals a first pitch strike to Rex Smith here, the 7-hitter, as Staunton now find themselves in a tie game. Jansen's, the former Florida Gator, deals a slider that misses outside to make the count 1-1. Jansen's has not been with the team for terribly long, but he's pitched just over 10 innings, equates to a 10.45 ERA. That ball up and in for ball number 2. He was really solid in the Tom Sox final regular season game against Culpeper, pitched a couple innings for the Sox. Now he faces 7-8-9. Swing and a miss there from Smith, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, and for Ian White today, 3 good innings of work, only gave up 2 hits. It was a hit on the first batter. Or it should be just the 1 hit that he gave up, and it was that solo shot home run off the bat of Jacob Lester, who's just been on one today.
Jansen's fires just below the knees, and it's 3-2. Ball was not too far off from getting the call from the home plate umpire, Landon Rochelo Schultheis, but now it's full. Smith in this game with a couple RBIs and a couple of walks to go with it. Here's the full count from Nico. Just outside for ball 4. And a leadoff walk here as that go-ahead run finds its way on first base here.
Yeah, that's another inning with a leadoff runner on base. It's been Rex Smith on 2 separate occasions now. Walk in the 5th and a walk here in the 7th. And that's 5 of 7 innings now where the leadoff batter has gotten on for Staunton.
It's a pinch hitter into the game here for the Braves. This is Cooper McDaniel, who will check in place of Ryan Fluharty, who went 1 for 2. Jansen's dealing with the runner on first. Kicks and fires behind 1-0. Now behind 2-0 to McDaniel, who will just played his first season at USC Beaufort, where he hit .348. In his 20 games with the Braves, he's hit .247 with 1 home run. Here's a fly ball into shallow right. Hudson Luderman makes the catch for out number 1. So the pinch hitter McDaniel retired, and that will bring up Zach Pacheski here with 1 out.
Pinch hit appearance right there. Good work by Nico to not be fazed by the new guy coming into the game. Retires him quickly on a pair of pitches. Now 1 down, a double play away from a very efficient inning for Nico Jansen's.
Jansen still with Smith on first. Will now throw back. Shadle over there able to snare it, but Smith back in time. So it's the 3rd lefty being used here by Randy Tomlin and his crew. Started with Newman, then Lane Duff was the first out of the pen, and followed by, after Ian White, now Nico Jansen's. And that's where we are now, in the bottom of the 7th, in a 6-6 ball game, with the winner a date with Culpeper tomorrow. Swing and a miss there from Pacheski, and it's 0-1.
Sox really worked their way back into the action here. And after kind of what felt like the Sox were a little bit out of it, you chase Kohler after a pair of base hits and finally get yourself some more runs on the board, and that's kind of been the resilience that we've seen from the Sox all year.
0-1, a little flare out into right field. Luderman collects, he throws over, and they are still able to get Pacheski. It just didn't quite get out of the box as quickly as he wanted to, and it is a very unorthodox 4-3, but it does put the go-ahead run at second base in Smith.
Yeah, one of the few times where a flare out to really, really shallow right field kind of becomes a problem for Pacheski at the plate. It just allowed Hudson Luderman, who was squared up in double play depth, to work his way back over to the ball. It wasn't too deep, right beyond the grass, made a nice sliding play and a nice throw over to Shadle at first for the out.
First pitch swung on and missed by Michael Urbaniak. Grounded out in his last at-bat, but has proven all season long why he hits at the top of the order. Jansen's in the lefty-lefty matchup, trying to strand that runner at second. Here's the 0-1. Urbaniak swings and misses again, and it's 0-2. Two outs here. Runner on second. Jansen's versus Urbaniak. 6-all in the 7th. Here's the pitch from Nico. In the dirt for ball 1. French able to keep it in front of him. Tom Sox started this game with the lead, then they lost it. We're down 6-3. They came back and rallied for a trio of runs in the top of the inning. Now we're trying to send this one to the 8th, still tied. Jansen's looks back at the runner at second and fires. Urbaniak pops this one up. That will go foul past the seats out there. 1-2 here with 2 away.
I'm really thankful for these umbrellas today. Been life-saving, truly.
Truly life-saving. Jansen's takes a look back and fires on a 1-2. Urbaniak spoils again.
And that's what he does so well at the plate. That really allows him to, you know, get that 400 average or around the 400 average now that he's been able to accomplish all season long. Puts him in like I think it's the top 10 in terms of batting average in players all across the league that the VBO as a league resides in, with like 112 teams. He's been one of the best.
1-2, Urbaniak spoils it once more. We'll do it again.
Fight off pitches. You see enough pitches that you eventually are able to jump on one of them.
It's a scattering of fans here, mostly only sitting where the shade reaches out. But a good crowd here on hand. 1-2 from Jansen's. just outside. 2-2 with 2 away.
It's a good pitch from Nico. Had been on a lot of fastballs, a lot of everything kind of bullying Urbaniak lefty inside, went away with the slider there, and just a disciplined take from the leadoff guy.
2-2. Here's the pitch. Just outside with the heater. Coach Joey Davis next to us can't believe it. It's full. It's been a good at-bat worked by Urbaniak with LT Cockrell waiting on deck. Jansen's in a full count. Swing and a miss. He gets Urbaniak to fan, and he strands the runner at second. That will take us to the 8th. Things tied up at 6. Tom Sox trying to reclaim the lead. Two, 3, 4 due up in the top of the 8th. Sox just trying to will their way back in front here in a 6-6 ball game. Ismael Barreo back to the mound here to face 2-3-4, which starts with Kyle Langley. First pitch misses outside for ball 1. Langley in this game got on to lead off the 7th with a single. He was just the first batter of the 3 that Kohler faced in the inning before he was chased. Now it's all tied up here, 6-6, and now the count is tied up 1-1. Barrero working out of the wind. Deals on a 1-1. Langley takes inside. 2 balls, 1 strike to the Tom Sox 2-hole hitter. Jackson Soroy waiting on deck. Brock Clayton in the hole. Langley at the plate. Here's the 2-1. Outside yet again. 3-1 here.
We talk about Kyle Langley as the guy who leads the team in batting average all season long. He's been here all year long, and his consistency just really goes unnoticed at times.
Here's a chopper that is snared by Pachevsky. He jumps, but he has no chance as Kyle legs out an infield single. And the leadoff man is on here. Second hit of the game for Langley, second in as many innings. And there's that go-ahead run here for Charlottesville.
Yeah, reached base in 4 of his last 5 ABs, whether that's via the single, via the error, via a fielder's choice. Langley's been on base today, and that's provided some pressure. He's got an RBI and a run scored today. So been Mr. Do-It-All plus a couple of good plays out in the field. And like I said, the consistency and just the work that Kyle Langley puts in, he's kind of a quiet guy, and it really just goes unnoticed. And it has gone unnoticed all year long.
Soroy squares, but pulls back and takes upstairs. 1-0 count.
This was one of the situations that we talked about on our little pregame show as to what to do in the spot like this.
Soroy bunts it up in the air, but foul just left of Rex Smith over there at third. One defensive change for the Braves as Cooper McDaniel will check in at right field, taking Ryan Fluharty's place. There goes Langley. Pitches swung on and grounded between the third baseman and shortstop. Langley will take third as well. Runners on the corners. Jackson Soroy have a day. He's got 3 singles, and the go-ahead run rests just 90 feet away.
Yeah, and it's not pretty flashy, super, aggressive baseball that the Sox play. A hit and run in the best spot possible. Jackson Soroy at the plate does what he does best, puts the ball into play, and it's a trio of singles for the Terp. And I couldn't be more excited for you to see what he's got in store for him once he gets up to Maryland.
So LT Cockrell will meet with Barrero on the mound here. Brian Sutphin is not out of the dugout yet. Now he is, as I'm sure they're just trying to buy as much time as possible. So is this just a mound visit, or is this the end of the line for Barrero?
It is Caden Takahashi Trader getting loose out in the bullpen, a guy who's thrown against the Sox, I believe, 3 times so far this year. We'll see if he is going to get the nod in this spot right here.
There's about 4 or 5 people standing in the Braves bullpen, 3 players, 1 coach, and a bullpen catcher that was on his knees a minute ago. Now he's standing up. Still a meeting at the mound here, and it looks like this will be the end of the line for Barrero, as the Braves are going to go to the pen, but the Tom Sox in a huge spot with runners on the corners looking to take the lead. A new pitcher in the game for the Braves. This is Caden Takahashi Trader, making his 9th appearance. He's pitched over 11 innings with a 2.45 ERA, but he's in a perilous spot here, facing Brock Clayton with nobody out and runners on the corners. In a 6-6 ball game here in the top of the 8th. Jackson Soroy on first, Kyle Langley on third. Takahashi Trader versus Clayton. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the first pitch to him, and Clayton swings and lines it into right field. Tom Sox take the lead on the RBI single from Brock Clayton. 7-6 here in the 8th.
And it's a multi-hit day for Brock Clayton, who delivers from the 4 spot. It's Brock Clayton on a heater once more, moves Soroy up to second. Langley comes home,
Number 10,
and the Tom Sox are in business.
Still no one out. Runners on first and second as Patrick Nias comes to the plate. Brock Clayton, a guy who, if you asked him, he would probably tell you that he hasn't had the ideal season at the plate as Nias fouls it straight back. He really got off to a slow start, but every time you watch him in BP, you know that the hitting ability is there. It was just a question of not if, but when. And it looks like when has been happening for the past 7 days or so. It's a 0-1 count here on Patrick Nias.
He's past, I think, 7 games played. He's got 4 or 5 multi-hit games, and it's been just consistency from Brock Clayton this season so far.
0-1, Nias takes outside. Pat in this game, 1 for 4 with an RBI single. That came last inning in the 7th. The Tom Sox have braved the elements in this game and have pulled themselves into the lead. Now Nias sends a fly ball down the right field line. That will go foul, just right of the bullpen, and it's 1-2.
I caught sight of that one rolling, so it did not hit my car. All is well. Survives another foul ball.
1-2 count with Tanner Shadle on deck. Patrick Nias, a guy who participated in the VBL Home Run Derby just a couple of weeks ago over in Harrisonburg. Hit a couple of tanks over there at Eagle Field. 1-2. Inside on the breaker from Trader. Soroy still at second. Clayton at first. Patrick Nias trying to give his team some insurance. Takahashi Trader looks back in and fires on a 2-2. Outside, it's full.
And the great thing with Takahashi Trader on the mound for the Sox is the only runs he's given up have been to the Charlottesville Tom Sox this season. And while the runners, or while with Soroy at second, not his responsibility, the Sox have still had his number to some extent this season.
Full count. Trader deals. Nias lines one out to right field. That ball is down for a hit. Soroy will hold at third. Into second goes Clayton. Nias has a second hit in this one, and the bases are loaded for Tanner Shadle.
And that is 4 straight, I repeat, 4 straight singles for the Sox here that have brought in a run and now loaded up the bases, still with nobody out. The offense still humming. Tanner Shadle with a big spot to really put a stamp on this one here, top 8.
The Braves will put the infield in here as Tanner Shadle takes his second at-bat. He struck out pinch hitting for Evan Taveras last inning. Now he faces a new arm here in Takahashi Trader and a golden opportunity. First pitch to Tanner. Outside for ball 1. Cockrell able to snare it, so Soroy stays put at third. Wyatt Campbell is maybe the only Brave truly playing in on the grass. The shortstop Lester has his foot kind of on the dirt and the grass. Trader's second pitch. Taken below the zone again by Shadle. Cockrell keeps it in front of him once again.
And this inning right here is an attribution to last inning and the work that the Sox did offensively last inning to really extend that frame, start to put some runs up on the board, get some hits together, not go down 1-2-3 in this Staunton defense. You can see them. It's hot out here. They're tired. Takahashi Trader not doing much to help him out right now.
2-0. Shadle takes a strike on the outside corner. Interesting 2-0. I could have sworn he was going to let it rip there, but instead he pulls back and it's 2-1.
No harm, no foul. As long as he puts together a disciplined at-bat the rest of the way.
Nobody out, 1 in already. Sox ahead 7-6. Shadle swings and pops it up. Campbell moving over. He won't have a play as that rolls onto the pavement and will bounce over 2-2 here with nobody out. Soroy still at third. Clayton joins him in scoring position at second, and Patrick Nias stands at first with his hands on his hips. Tanner Shadle, sporting that arm sleeve on the right side, holds his hands near his ears with the bat in his hands. Here's the 2-2. Shadle spoils it, and will do it again on a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Anderson French waits on deck. The Sox have taken the lead. Can they break it open? Takahashi Trader shakes off the first pitch. Now gets the sign. Here's the 2-2. Shadle lines one into center field. Soroy will score. Clayton will hold at third. It's 8-6. Tanner Shadle with the 5th straight single. And the Tom Sox lead by 2.
And it's just this small ball, you know, no big hits, no big doubles off the wall, no bombs into the trees. Single after single after single after single. And the Sox are rolling right now. Base hit after base hit. Everybody's doing their jobs at the plate. And this is exactly what we talked about. They're not the flashiest team here in the VBL, but they can get the job done when they shorten their swings and just look for base hits every at-bat.
Bases loaded now for Anderson French. Infield still in. Nobody's still out. French takes inside, gets away from Cockrell, but Clayton will stay put over at third.
Yeah, no need to test that play right there. You've got nobody out here. You're not necessarily a guaranteed run over there at third, but on anything put nicely into play, Clayton should score. So don't test a play there and record it out when you don't need to in a spot like this.
Takahashi Trader takes a deep breath and fires. Swung on and missed by French. 1-1 here. Still nobody out with the middle infield playing pretty deep in on the grass. French in this game hitless, but a couple of walks and a couple of groundouts. 1-1. Way outside, and it's 2-1.
Brady Clark getting loose out in the pen for Staunton. We'll see if his name needs to be called here in the 8th inning and become the 3rd pitcher to toss here top 8. This could be the final at-bat for Takahashi Trader if French can provide some offense and keep the line moving.
It started with Ismael Barrero, who inherited a bases-loaded situation. 2-1, French takes outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. French, who's already walked twice, is 1 ball away from putting in a 3rd run here in this inning. 3-1, nobody out, bases juiced. Here's the pitch. French swings and misses, little bit behind on the heater, and it's full.
Yeah, and get that sinker out of the right hand of Takahashi Trader. That's going to bend away from French, so you kind of have to be a little bit further under it than you might think you need to, and just kind of straight over the top of it, and a little late was French on it.
Full count with the bases juiced. Trader takes a deep breath and fires. French fouls it off. Hudson Luderman waits on deck. He brought things level last inning with the sacrifice fly. Will Genowine would be in the hole here, as we'll do it again on a full count. Takahashi Trader versus French. Big pitch coming up here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Here's the pitch. French fouls it once again. Looks like he might have hit one of the lights.
Off the light pole.
Off the pole.
With a resounding dong.
Yeah, the lights aren't on, but the poles reside within the essentially foul territory, as opposed to the ones at Cho Airport Field that are on the other side of the fence. So much more likely to hit one out here at John Moxie. Here's a 3-2 count. French spoils it again. Good at bat here. And we'll do it again on another 3-2 count. Shadle at first. Nias at second. Clayton at third. French at the plate. 8-6. Sox have already put 2 across in the inning, and they're still threatening. Here's the 3-2 from Trader. French drives this one into right field. McDaniel near the wall. It is over his head and off the wall. 1 run will score, runners will just go station to station. Boy, that was a towering fly ball from Anderson French, but everybody had to hold, and we were just a matter of feet from a grand slam.
Oh, wow. I thought it actually did carry out with the white fence out there in right field. You have no clue if anything carries out, and nobody was sure of anything. Everybody going station to station. Tanner Shadle was about a half step away from being out on that on a force play to second base because he had relatively retreated back to first. But instead, it'll be another run across on another station-to-station single in the end of the line right here for Takahashi Trader, most likely.
So that is now 6 straight singles. Yes, you heard me correctly. And it results in 3 runs for the Tom Sox so far in this inning. Takahashi Trader's afternoon is done. It's a short one, and the Braves are going to the pen yet again. Still looking to record an out, and the Tom Sox with the bases loaded already with 3 in this inning. The third pitcher used by the Braves in this inning, and there's still nobody out. This is Brady Clark into the game, another right-hander. He's pitched 17 innings on the season for Staunton with a 3.17 ERA, and he once again inherits a bases-loaded, nobody-out situation.
Yeah, he's now the third pitcher to come in with the bases loaded and nobody out, and it's just not ideal for Staunton defensively.
9-6 here in the 8th as Hudson Luderman takes a first pitch ball. He's got the bases loaded. He's got Anderson French over at first, Tanner Shadle at second, Patrick Nias at third. As Clark just trying to get something other than a single here, as that one misses outside for 2-0.
Do you think he'd be happier if he gave up a double?
Well, we would, I can tell you that.
True that.
Huddy in this game with a sacrifice fly which tied the game and a single back in the first. Now he hits a drive into center field. This will stay in the yard. Little makes the catch, might be a play. Throw comes in, it's a good one, but Nias up safely without a slide. 10-6, Huddy knocks in his second via sacrifice fly, and the Sox lead by 4.
And another sacrifice fly brings up Will Genowine. And that's just a good productive at-bat from Hudson Luderman. It wasn't, you know, the single we were all hoping and praying for, but the sacrifice fly gets the job done, brings in yet another run, and increases the cushion for the Sox up to 4 in what's been a long inning.
It does put an out on the board here. So now first and second with 1 out. As Clark is going to briefly throw back to Rex Smith at third, just in case Nias left the bag early. 10-6. Tom Sox entered this inning tied up. Now they've played it 4. Now it's up to number 4 to keep the train moving. First pitch, a strike at the knees to Will Genowine.
We have now eclipsed the 3-hour mark for the first time in a couple of games for the Sox. It's been quick work whether it's a run rule win here or just some low-scoring affairs. And now we've got ourselves a high-scoring 3+ hour outing here in Staunton.
0-1 is fouled away. As we eclipse the 3-hour mark, I am very thankful for our eclipses that we are holding right now, blocking out the sun.
Basically, eclipse. Yeah, we should just call these solar eclipses umbrellas. That's a new name.
You can stand under my eclipse.
You can, yeah.
That's what Rihanna said.
Exactly. When the sun shines, we shine together.
Here's the 0-2 to Genuine. He spoils it. And if it wasn't clear by that statement, the heat has taken its place now on us.
If it hadn't settled in already, it's definitely settling in now.
No, it's just been that kind of season. Landon Weaver, one of our colleagues, had to call 16 innings of baseball the other day.
Yeah.
From a doubleheader.
No, it was 19.
19 innings.
Because we played 10 in game 2 in the 7-inning double in the 7 innings, turned into a 10-inning affair. I was aboard with him for that one. That was a doozy.
Genuine leaves the 0-2, and it's 1-2 here on the ball inside. Clark has recorded an out, but every at-bat has been productive so far in this inning for the Sox. Now up 10-6 here in the 8th. Genuine takes outside. 2-2. French still at first, Shadle still at second. And the Sox continue to threaten. Sox have scored 7 runs in the last inning and change. And they're not done yet. The 9-hitter Genuine waits on a 2-2 from Brady Clark. Swinging a foul ball. We'll do it again on 2 apiece.
Great play made by Alex Bingler on a ball into the sky right in front of us. So good play, Bing.
2-2 count, 1 out. Clark rocks back and forth, looks back at Shadle at second and deals. Genuine just fouls it off again. It's really been a string of long at-bats for the Sox. They've worked their walks, but they've also done a really good job of just waiting out pitches, trying to tire out these Staunton pitchers, and it has yielded really promising results here as we head into the back half of this one. 2-2 from Clark. Genuine spoils it again. The one thing to consider in all of this is that this long inning, you think about Nico Janssens, who pitched really well in the bottom of the 7th. A scoreless inning for him, but will he get the next inning will be the question. Genuine hits a ground ball, snared over by Campbell. They get 1, throw back to first, not in time. So that will be a 3-6 fielder's choice. It does move Shadle over to third and put runners on the corners here with 2 outs. And the top of the order represented by Perry Hargett at the plate.
And Hargett now up to end for his third at-bat in 3 innings. He ended the last 2 innings, one with a hard line out to center, the other one with a fielder's choice that just got Will Genuine last inning. And back-to-back innings with the Sox batting 9 batters at least, with Perry Hargett at the plate here.
A game that has so many implications for the postseason. The Sox have really hit their stride at the plate down the stretch. Hargett behind in the count 0-1. They've now batted around in 2 consecutive innings here. As the 0-1 to Perry is lifted out into center field. Going back is Little. Near the wall, he sticks his hand out and makes the catch. That ball had a lot of carry on it.
Woo.
But it does end the inning. But not before the Tom Sox get 4. They now lead 10-6 and are just 6 outs away from advancing to the VBL South final.
Galuski.
Well, a pinch hitter into the game here for the Braves as Nico Jansen takes the mound, now with the lead here. This is Ty Galuski, who will hit for LT Cockrell, who has caught the last 7 innings for Staunton, as the first pitch from Nico is a ground ball, slow roller. Luderman gloves it quickly over to first, and Shadle makes the catch for the out. Tom Sox now 5 outs away from a berth in the division title.
And it's kind of the bad part about an inning like this for Staunton. The good part for the Sox is you have those elongated innings like the last 2 for the Sox offensively, and for the catcher behind the plate, it's awful. You're out there for hours on end, and it feels like it's never going to end, and you're in all that gear, and it's super hot. So hopefully LT Cockrell's doing all right in the dugout, and he's cooling himself down. But he is now out of the game, and that's kind of a sigh of relief for the Sox. That's a guy who could really be a catalyst for things coming down the line.
Now it's 0-1 on the dangerous Wyatt Campbell, as Jansen's fires. Second pitch outside to make it 1-1. Cockrell, I mean, we saw it with Evan Taveras, who caught about 5 or 6 innings or so, and then the Sox pulled him. But on a hot day like this, as you mentioned, with all the gear on, it just can be tough, as the 1-1 has popped up. Where's that ball going?
I don't know. Hopefully
I'm gonna
not.
hold on to my umbrella.
Yeah, I think I'm behind us somewhere. But we have our eclipse protection, so we're good. You think these are baseball proof?
Only one way to find out.
I don't really want to find out.
Here's the 1-2. Jansen's deals just outside on the slider.
That's a great miss right there. A pitch that Campbell's not exactly looking for, a backdoor slider. Down 1-2. Good pitch idea, good pitch call from Glaze. Just missed the outside spot.
Campbell with 3 walks and a ground out. That ball in the dirt, 2-2. Anderson French, the backstop, of course, now for the Tom Sox after Evan Taveras was taken out. Tanner Shadle took his spot at first base back in the 6th. Jansen's now in a full count against Campbell, trying to avoid walking him for the 4th time. Here's the pitch. Campbell takes outside, and that's exactly what they do. Braves get a man on here with 1 away.
And no harm, no foul for Jansen's here. Just adjust. He gave up a leadoff walk last inning. Gives up the 1-out walk this inning, and all things considered, that run doesn't matter. So, you know, don't worry about Campbell on base. He's most likely not going to steal on you. Imagine he's not there. Work to get your ground out, get your double play, get out of this. Don't allow Campbell to do too much to your brain to allow more base runners on.
So here's Joey Little. Has an RBI single today, but also a strikeout. He swings and lines one into right field. That will go foul. Good swing there from Little, but can't turn it around.
And a big at-bat here defensively for the Sox, with Jacob Lester awaiting on deck, who's 3 for 4 with a home run, a double, a pair of RBIs, and a pair of runs.
0-1. Jansen, a deep breath, and deals. Swinging another foul ball towards the right side. That one hits off the screen. 0-2 count.
And it's hard hit contact, but it gets you ahead in the count, and those are pitches that you're throwing to get foul balls like that. You know, whether it's the, you know, sometimes an inside cutter from a pitcher across the way or an outside sinker, you're just trying to get him to chase, throw something foul, get yourself ahead in the count.
0-2, Jansen's fires. Here's a ball that is snared by Jansen's. He loses his glove. They get one over to second. Soroy doesn't throw. A wonky play. I couldn't tell if that ball was lined or bounced to Jansen.
It was on a line.
But it knocked his glove off of him, but he recovered, got the ball, threw over to second to get the force, and still gets an out and puts that runner Little over at first base.
Yeah, and it just, not much you can do if you're Wyatt Campbell on the base paths right there. You kind of just get frozen because you think that Jansen's has caught that ball. You immediately jump after the ball is hit after your secondary lead. It knocked Jansen's glove clean off the line, and he eventually recovered to make a good play.
That one misses low for a ball. Just how you drew it up. 1-6 fielder's choice for the second out.
The usual. The casual 1-6. Had a lot of those today. Been some crazy things written into the book today.
1-0, Jansen's deals, and that fastball hits the zone. 1-1. And of course, it was at this ballpark about a week ago where Ryan Pugh was in the game for the Sox, and he caught a ball that was probably hit maybe 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, easily.
As the 1-1 is taken outside by Jacob Lester, the shortstop, who is working on a really good day. 3 hits, including a home run and a pair of RBIs. But to finish that story, I just remember watching Pugh as he walked off as the 2-1 is taken below the zone on a check swing. Pugh walked off, and he looked like he had just seen a ghost.
Yeah.
And I think the ghost was his own.
Sure.
On that play.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where your life flashes before your eyes, and then before you know it, you're somehow still alive again. He still looked pretty ghastly even after the game.
Here's the 3-1 from Nico. Misses inside. Lester will take his first walk of the game. That puts 2 on here for Lincoln Pack.
Yeah, well, you can't give up a triple for the cycle if you just walk him instead, right? It's genius baseball right there. That was intentional. We'll call it an intentional one. But, yeah.
So Anderson French will go out and meet with his pitcher. There's nobody up in the Tom Sox bullpen right now. It's presumed that Janssens will finish this inning.
Yeah, I think the game plan right now to see somebody up and stretching it is, I think, Lucas Cash getting loose out there, who could come in to finish things off here, but no official motion down in the bullpen yet. Brock Clayton as well, also still in the dugout. He'll be doing the catching duties in the pen.
First pitch here to Pack. Outside for ball 1. Now runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Good pop on that bat right there. Or good pop on the pitch.
Lester at first. And it is Campbell as that ball is lined, but caught by Jackson Soroy. Perfectly positioned was the future Terp shortstop. And we will move to the 9th. The Tom Sox have their last chance for insurance as they now are 3 outs away from going to the division title. As we reach the 9th inning here at John Moxie Stadium for the 3rd consecutive inning, Kyle Langley will lead off here for the Sox. They lead Staunton 10-6 in this critical VBL playoff game. Langley takes the first pitch and drives it into right field. Cooper McDaniel, leaning towards the wall, makes the catch. So this is the final chance here for the Sox to get any insurance before the bottom of the 9th. And right now they only have 2 outs to work with. It'll be Jackson Soroy now for at-bat number 6 in this one.
Yeah, and there's no better way offensively for your team to carry momentum into whatever game, into the game that comes next against Culpeper, regardless of who wins this game. Either way, it's either the Sox put up 10 runs here total, or Stanton's going to have to come back with at least 10 of their own. And it's just a really positive note for your team to be able to, come in and do the job that they did, down 6-3 against a team who does not give up a whole lot of runs, especially to your squad. And they came back, fired back offensively, a 1-1 count now on Soroy, and just really, built their own brand of success.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jackson Soroy with 3 singles and a walk. He's reached in 4 of the 5 plate appearances in this game. 1-1 to him, just below the zone for ball number 2. So the Tom Sox or the Braves will face Culpeper. Either one of these teams will be at home, just because both of them are the higher seeds. Soroy lifts one out to right field. That will go foul. Look out in the bullpen, almost making that catch was somebody over there. And on the other side of the VBL playoff bracket, it's going to be Purcellville and Strasburg to face the winner of Culpeper and the winner of these two. 2-2 count. Clark deals, and Soroy takes outside. Full count.
Yeah, close pitch right there. Good location from Clark. Better take from Jackson Soroy.
Credit to the Tom Sox for really a gritty performance at the plate. As the full count, Soroy lines it into right field. He has got a 4th single. Have a day, Jackson Soroy. Somewhere Matt Swope and Jimmy Jackson are smiling from ear to ear right now as the future Terrapin is having himself a day.
And it's been to all fields, a trio into right field and one out into left. And it's been Jackson do-it-all Soroy offensively for the Sox. 4 hits, 2 runs already across an RBI. What can the guy do wrong today? The answer is nothing.
First pitch to Brock Clayton misses outside for a ball. Clayton in this game has been really solid. He's reached 4 times, once on a fielder's choice, but brought in a big RBI back in the 8th inning. Now he's got Jackson Soroy over on first base with 1 out. Pitch from Clark, outside. Ten to 6 here, Sox ahead in the 9th inning. Looking to get some more runs on the board before the bottom half. Clayton takes a strike.
Gonna get the pitch to hit right here. Presumably some sort of fastball.
3-1 count. Clayton waits and takes one in the dirt for ball 4. Another walk issued by Clark. And that puts 2 on with 1 out for Patrick Neas, who's having himself a good game as well with a couple of singles and an RBI.
It's been everybody across the board. There really is nobody in this lineup who hasn't produced in some way, shape, or form for the Sox offensively. Everybody's done their job, moved the line, and this is the brand of baseball the Sox love to play.
Neas up the middle, stepping on second is Pacheski, over to first, and they get the double play. That will end the inning, and the Tom Sox have a 4-run lead as they're just 3 outs away from advancing in the Valley League playoffs. Bottom of the 9th here. It's closing time for the Sox as Nico Janssens is tasked with getting the final 3 outs. He will deal with the bottom 3 in the order: Rex Smith, Cooper McDaniel, and Zach Pachewski. Tom Sox ahead 10 to 6 here. The winner to play Culpepper. First pitch swung on and missed. There goes the bat out of the hands of Rex Smith, and it's 0-1.
I think he's gonna need that. Just the velo that comes out the hands of Jansen causes such a hard swing from McDaniel, and that's what you get with a whole bunch of velo. Excuse me, the swing from Smith.
Janssens, who's pitched the last 2 innings, trying to close it out here in his 3rd. 0-1. Here's the pitch from Nico. Fouled away towards the left side, 0-2. Culpeper took care of business last night, 5-2. They beat Harrisonburg, who was the top seed in the VBL South. And they await the winner of this one. Nico Jansen's ahead 0-2 against Smith. Just outside for a ball.
And the benefit of the cancellation from last night, obviously this is not a great benefit having to play out in the heat today, but the benefit is you do get to know the winner of the North game for the championship before it happens.
1-2, misses down low, 2-2. Rex Smith in this game with a couple of walks and a couple of RBIs. 3 walks to be exact, 2 RBIs. Faces an even count, 2-2. Sox up by 4. Just off the inside corner, says home plate umpire Landon Rochelo Schultheis, and it's full. Jansen's got a good start in this at-bat, but Smith has battled back.
You can see Jansen struggling for grip still, wiping sweat off of his hands onto his pants. Hopefully he's got a good grip on this last pitch.
3-2 count. Jansen's out of the wind. Swinging a line drive into left field, coming in and not being able to make the catch is Genowine. Leadoff man is on. Rex Smith with his first hit of the game. And the leadoff man reaches here for Staunton.
Yeah, and it's down but not out for Staunton. This game is far from over here. 4 runs seems like a mountain to climb, but if the bottom of the order can get it done, you flip it over back to the top, and we know danger awaits 1 through 3.
Randy Tomlin will walk out here to meet with Jansen's. Whole infield will come in. Coy Tomlin is pointing to the bullpen.
Coy apparently wants Ryan Pugh to come in, who's getting loose out there. And I think this is just Randy having a talk over with his guys, saying, hey, that runner doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Focus on the guys at the plate. Let your defense work behind you. You have a cushion and a lead for a reason. Get to work.
Coach Tomlin in his second season, of course, with the Sox, the Mo Weber Manager of the Year from last season for the title-winning Charlottesville Tom Sox. And, of course, a former big league pitcher of his own. Played 5 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates, later coached in the Washington Nationals organization. If there's anyone who knows what to say to a fellow lefty on the mound in this situation, it would be Randy Tomlin.
Yes, it would. We'll see if his advice pays off here in this at-bat.
So Jansen's will stay in the game. Here's the first pitch. Swinging a drive into right field. Going back is Hargett. Near the wall, he makes the catch. 1 away, as that ball had some spin on it, but Hargett, a good defensive outfielder, snares it. And moving back to first base is Smith on the F9.
That's a rough play to make for Hargett. It initially comes off the bat going more towards that right center field gap where you saw him break initially. He had to turn himself back around as the ball started to slice, and then the wind added onto it, almost turned himself around, and instead he stays upright.
First pitch swung on and missed here by Zach Pachevsky, as the Tom Sox are just 2 outs away from facing Culpeper in the division final. 0-1 from Jansen, swung on and missed, 0-2. Pachevsky in this game, a couple of strikeouts, a walk and a ground out. Rex Smith over at first with 1 away. Shadle holding on. Here's the 0-2. Called strike 3. A delayed call, but the call that Jansen's was looking for, and there's 2 away.
That's just pitch execution. That's confidence on the mound. When you're facing that 9-hole hitter who's already struck out a pair of times today, make that the sombrero for Pachevsky. And now you got the top of the order, the best hitter all season long in the VBL as the last hope.
Michael Urbaniak checks in. First pitch, a ball. Urbaniak will face another lefty-lefty matchup here. Struck out in his last at-bat. That was his first go-around against Nico Jansen's. And now he represents the last hope for the Braves. The 1-0. Line drive into the right field corner. That is a fair ball. Smith will get on his horse, as will Hargett as he comes in to receive it. Urbaniak into second with a sliding double. Smith over to third. And the Braves are still alive here for Ty Galuski.
And it's still, honestly, no harm, no foul here. You've got the lead for a reason, and you've got a 4-run cushion. The batter at the plate in Ty Galuski doesn't even represent the game-tying run. Confidence in yourself on the mound. Go out and attack him the same way you attacked Pacheski. Urbaniak is just a good baseball player. He gets on base, he does his job, and have some faith in yourself here on the mound. Those runs don't matter. It's all about throwing strikes. You've got 1 out to get.
Lefty-lefty matchup. Galuski swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. This is his second at-bat. He swung at the first pitch in his first one and grounded out to Hudson Luderman. He has taken the place of LT Cockrell, who caught 2/3 of this game, but exited. Jansen still 1 out away, up by 4. 0-1, gets behind the catcher French, and that will score a run. Coming around to score is Smith. It's 10-7 on a wild pitch.
And it, honestly, still no harm, no foul. It is what it is. You don't shake it off. Move on to your next pitch. It's a 1-1 count. Get your batter at the plate. There's a runner on third now and a run across the plate. Got the lead. Make it work.
On a 1-1 count with 2 outs. Urbaniak at third. Galuski at the plate. Here's the pitch from Jansen's fly ball. That will go foul, and the Tom Sox are 1 strike away from the win. 10-7 ball game here. Charlottesville in a 1-2 count, ahead by 3. Jansen's versus Galuski. The left-hander comes set, fires out of the stretch. Just outside for ball 2. A game that has been canceled once, was rescheduled, and then moved because of rain. All comes down to this. In a 2-2 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch from Jansen's. Here's a ground ball to second. Hudson Luderman, it bounces off him over to first. In time, the Tom Sox are going to the South title. Nico Jansen's shuts the door. What a team and what a win. They walk into Staunton and end their season 10-7. Charlottesville has a date with Culpeper at the Cho.
And it's another home game for the Sox on deck. Battled back from down 6-3. We thought they were out of it. Evan Kohler was absolutely dealing on the mound. You put together a pair of base hits, knocked him out of the game, and the line started moving and did not stop. The Sox pieced together hits inning after inning, the 7th and the 8th inning. A combined 7 runs offensively for Charlottesville. The Sox go home happy and now get to play at home even happier tomorrow as they host Culpeper with the VBL South on the line.
A game that took nearly 3.5 hours. You can throw in an extra 24 because of a rain delay. And in a season full of ups and downs, you're looking for a signature win with this team. I think you got it with a 10-7 victory in Staunton over the Braves. Nico Jansen's will get the win. Ismael Barrero saddled with the loss. And for now, Jeremy, this is a Tom Sox team that keeps dancing.
Yeah, the dance lives on. And on a really, really hot day out here in Staunton, they win when it mattered the most. The offense turned it on when it mattered the most. Got the job done. Survive and advance. The advance continues to one more game at the Cho tomorrow night.
So that will do it for our broadcast. I want to thank every listener who buried their way through some technical difficulties and braving us being progressively more heat-stricken as time goes on. But we are okay, and we are ready to have a day here as the Tom Sox pick up a 10-7 win over Staunton. They will play Culpeper tomorrow for a chance to play in the Valley League Championship, and that will do it for our broadcast this afternoon. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and we will see you tomorrow. For my partner Jeremy Rose, I'm Daniel Stein saying good afternoon here from John Moxie Stadium. Final score in this one, Tom